Hello everybody, my name is Vash Harry. This is the Harry Knit. We do a lot of crafty videos, knitting videos, and this is the first ever podcast of 2024, which is cool. I forgot to do a podcast in December of last year because I was sick with COVID, and honestly I did not have the capacity to film anything, period. I was just really sick that time, but now I'm back. I've been back in Brunei for about, I want to say 24 hours. I was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for the past week for wedding planning stuff, and I thought it'd be good to film a podcast. I usually just ramble. We talk about FOs and whips and yarn hauls, but I got some other stuff that I bought when I was in KL that aren't yarn, but they're knitting adjacent, and I'd really love to talk about them. But yeah, I mean, this past January has been very busy to the point that I feel like I knitted quite a bit, but I also was not knitting as much as I thought I did, because I'm trying to create a lot more self-drafted patterns and designs, but that also means that I do a lot of ripping back, starting over again, and the projects that I have, I do that. I'm basically sitting down and I'm ripping a lot of them back and starting over. So I'm not actually knitting as much as I thought I was, or at least I don't have as many FOs as I would have if I was just focusing on a pattern that another designer made, which is perfectly fine. I think like this year I do want to be more intentional with my makes and actually knit things that I like, and figuring out how to make that without a base pattern in mind. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a very fun aspect of designing patterns. And I have, I think, 3 FOs, 2 that I made last year, December last year. So, and I didn't talk about it in a podcast. I talked about it in my like everything I knitted in 2023, but very briefly. So I think I could sneak them into this podcast. And then 1 FO as well that I finished maybe, I want to say a few weeks ago, probably like a week and a half ago. It was finally blocked and done. And then I have 1 whip and a few yarn hauls. I do have a bigger yarn haul video coming up next week because I went to Spotlight for the first time in KL, and it was incredible. It was beautiful, but my partner put me on a time limit and I was not allowed to spend more time in that shop. Spotlight is a brand shop. It's like Hobby Lobby or Michael's in the US that sells crafting supplies, fabrics, all that good stuff. And I think they are Australian, but they have stores in Malaysia. So I went to the one in Kuala Lumpur. It's beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. I will make a quick haul video about that. But I do have some yarn that I got from other countries, specifically the ones here in Brunei and in Singapore. But let's just start, because I'm already talking so much. Let's just start with the FOs, because honestly I could ramble a lot about how January was so busy for one reason or another. Let's move on to the FOs. The first one that I have here that I finished last year is the Rehat sweater. This is my sweater that I designed. This is called the Rehat because Rehat means rest in Bahasa Melayu. It has a very deep neckline, which is what I wanted, and it features straight sleeves and crochet edging. You can see it right there. But when I was drafting up the pattern, I gave 3 different options. So you can do it with this crocheted hem, you can do it with I-cord, or you can do it just unrolled. I gave that option. And I wanted a sweater that was your basic, everyday, lazy sweater that you can wear in hot climates. I said it in many videos, this is no exception. I live in a hot climate, so I need to make clothes that are easy for me to wear in the heat. And this is also something I've noticed with other knitters in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. We want to wear things that we can wear out and not sweat our butts off. And this is a sweater that I made because I wanted that. I wanted a sweater, something long sleeve that I could actually wear out. So this is wool. This is Noro Kureyon in the shade 459. The color is beautiful. This is the one that my sister got from me when she was in Japan back in October. She got me this yarn from Okodaya, and it is a worsted Aran weight yarn that's Z-plied, so it's pretty twisted. But because I knitted this on 10 millimeters, it's very sheer. well, it's not sheer right now, but if I put it on, you can see a little bit of shape underneath, which is what I wanted. I really love the color. I love the finishing. It curls a little bit, but once you block it, honestly, it's perfectly fine. We're doing the test knits right now for it, and I've noticed the neckline is a bit long, unfortunately, and then the vertical rows are not as... There's issues with the vertical gauge as well, so I'm gonna have to update that pattern either today or tomorrow. I have to fix it and I have to update the pattern so it works for all the body shapes and sizes. I really wanna be better at grading and being able to compare sizes to other people. And obviously it depends on preference. It's a top-down sweater, so top-down you kind of have to figure out the necklines and everything. One of the issues that I had when I was designing the Awan sweater back in 2022 was that the neckline was too high, so we had to fix it. This one, it's too long for some people, so we're gonna have to figure that out once we do, which is fine. I think, that's what test knitters are there. I appreciate them so much to take the time to be able to knit a sweater up and give me really crucial feedback during this time. And I really do like the different types of edging. Some of the test knitters ended up using ribbing, which is completely okay if they wanted to do that. I personally do not like ribbing on a lot of sweaters, but I have one with ribbing coming up. I just wanted something that was very free and flowing, which is not everybody's preference. I totally get that. But it was for me, and it was for something that I really wanted to wear that looked very seamless. I saw a lot of people make sweaters and they just leave the hem unrolled, but I didn't quite like that finishing, at least not for me personally. I wanted something a bit cleaner without the use of ribbing, so that's why I made the Rehat sweater as it is. The issue that I have, I think, when it comes to this sweater in particular, when I'm making it, is the fact that this is worsted weight or Aran worsted weight yarn on 10 millimeter. It's originally supposed to be on 5 mil, so it's about double the needle size because we wanted it to be really loose and see-through. And because it's wool, I think a lot of misconceptions are that you can't wear wool out, which yes, it is true, but from my personal experience, it's okay to wear this kind of wool. It's not too hot, at least on my body, and I really appreciate that. I get hot very easily, so that's why my room is always cold. But I'm gonna have to figure this out for the other knitters and making sure everyone's on the same page. The vertical gauge, I've noticed, is also pretty important on this, especially since it's a top down. So we're gonna have to figure that out as we go along. I have to note that in the vertical gauge. But speaking of ribbing on sweaters, I really like the Rehat sweater. I really love it. It's so loose. But then I wanted to make a thicker version. So the next FO is her sister. I call this the Malas sweater. So Rehat, the Rehat sweater means rest. Malas means lazy, because this is a lazy boy. This is your lazy winter sweater that I think is absolutely beautiful. But I did something wrong during blocking, and this is the second time it's happened this month. She's blocked, she's beautiful. She uses drops Andes in ice blue because I really love the color. I love the design. I added ribbing at the neckline, in the bottom, and on the sleeves. So it's your typical drop shoulder sweater, and I wanted something like that for myself, especially since I am planning on going to a colder climate this year, sometime this year. Cross my heart, knock on wood, hopefully that happens. But I blocked this sweater and I made a mistake with pinning, because when I wore it, I noticed the sleeves were slightly too short. They were about maybe an inch or half an inch too short for my liking. So I was like, okay, I'll fix it in blocking. I'll fix it as I block this sweater. And then I blocked it, and then instead of growing about an inch, it grew about 4 inches. So you could see that it's way too long now. I mean, it passes just at the tip of my middle finger. So it's grown quite a bit since blocking. The length is perfect. The body length is perfect. It just hits about the hip line. The neckline sorted itself out. It is the sleeves that worry me a little bit. So what I'm planning on doing, I was supposed to do this maybe the week or maybe like a few days before I left to KL. I'm supposed to frog the sleeves at least, and then just re-knit the ribbing and maybe steam it so it looks really nice. But then I posted on my Instagram at the Hairy Knit, if you want to follow me. I posted about it, and some people said leave it as it is because it's cute. And it is cute, but I don't think I want a sleeve that is way too long, unfortunately. And I also have to keep in mind that I don't really want to wear a sleeve that's way too long. And I'm planning on writing a pattern for this, and I don't think other people would either. So I am going to redo the ribbing. I think I'm gonna redo it. I'll probably redo it maybe sometime tomorrow or this week at least, and I'll give you an update if I actually do it, probably on the YouTubes or the Instagrams. But this is how the sweater came up. I think I used 9mm on this. It is the Mala Sweater Sister. The construction is the same when it comes to being dropped down, and the sleeves, it's similar, but the gauge is different, so the stitches are different, and then the neckline is also very different. So it's a sister in construction and design, but not necessarily in the nitty-gritties. So this is how it looks like. I really love her. I just wish she wasn't so long at the sleeves. But those are 2 sweaters that I made in December. I finished them up in December. I was gonna block the Mala sweater in December, but then COVID happened and I completely forgot to block her until maybe a few weeks ago, because there was a lot of wedding things happening in January, and it wasn't my wedding. It was a very fancy wedding, and if you know anything about Brunei, that wedding was very popular, and we had to go to some of the events, all of the events, and it took a lot of time. But yeah, I think I'm okay with showing you guys this, even though I didn't finish it this month. And I don't even know if I want to continue doing like frequent podcasts every single month, even though they're really fun to make. I think it's because I don't want to justify like finishing something for the sake of a podcast, or not starting a project because I want to wait until the podcast is already filmed. I don't think that's a healthy mindset for me, at least. Let's just continue before I start talking again. This one I'm so sad about, and it is my fault. A lot of this is my fault because as a self-drafter, knitting person, I should have kept this in mind. This is a vest that I made. It's freehand. And one of the best things that I started getting into was Stitch Fiddle or Chartminder. It's Chartminder, although I'm planning on switching to Stitch Fiddle or Stitch Mastery. And basically it is knitting paper online, and you can design your swatches and your stitches, and I really like that, especially when I'm designing like cable work. And I really wanted to make a cable sweater. It's been a while. I think the last one I made was in 2021 with the Lana vest. And I wanted a new one. I wanted something that was pretty. I wanted something that was simple. So I made a vest, and I was so proud of it. This is the currently Untitled Vest. I don't have a name for it. If you have a name for it, please let me know. This uses bulky weight yarn that my sister got for me in Japan, and it's so pretty. I did like this nice detailed cables here. You can see the subtle detailings here, and it's so pretty. And then I left the back kind of plain, but still with the same cable elements. She's beautiful. I even did some moss stitching here, and then it also has a split hem detail that I really wanted, and it also has cables on the side. And it's so beautiful. I love her so much. I drafted the whole piece and it fit me so well until I blocked it, because this is 50% alpaca, 50% wool. Can't remember the brand name right now. I think it's Sonomono, something like that. And I didn't have a lot of yarn. I think I had 10 skeins, which is a lot of skeins to have, a lot of balls, but it was 40 grams and 60 meters. So I only had about 600 meters-ish to play around with for this sweater. And I did not have a lot of yarn left. Like this sweater, if you see it at the bottom, I think in the back section, I had to eat into my swatching. And I made 3 different swatches for the cables. And I had to frog this a couple of times because what it says, the gauges on the packaging, it said it was about 18 stitches. It was not when I was swatching it. And so I had to like rip it back, start all over. And then also cables change the stitch count, so I think I did it a bit too small initially, and then I did it again, and it was perfect. It was the perfect size for me, and then I blocked it, and I should have been very careful with my blocking because I did a wet block. I always wet block my pieces. That's just because that's the easiest way I find it, and that's the one that that's the technique for blocking that I've been doing for the past like 5 years. This should not have been wet blocked. It should have been steam block, and now it is. The original size for the bust is supposed to be about 40 to 42 inches. It's supposed to have 8 to 10 inches of positive ease. This sweater vest is now, and I calculated, about 56 inches at the bust. That is, I want to say, about 22 inches of positive ease for me. So it's way too big. I think I was supposed to knit up the size 2 for my bust. This is a size 5 or 6, I'm gonna say. So someone with 44 inches or 46 inches of positive ease, this would be a beautiful sweater vest for them, but it's not for me. And I'm a little bit worried now about designing a second version for me because the pattern that I made this with has the design of a size 3 in mind that just so happened to be blocked to a 2XL or a size 6, I think. I don't have the measurements in my brain right now. But so my thinking is, if I were to draft this pattern, and I would love your opinion on this, if I were to draft it, should I keep this sample size as it is as a size for a bust of 46 inches, or should I just keep it as is, even though the gauge is so different now? And see, this is the thing. I am so confused on what to do, but it's something that I do have to figure out. Hopefully by the end of this month, there will be a pattern and some photos ready, but we shall see. We'll always have to see about this pattern. Those are the 3 sweaters and sweater vests that I've made in the past 2 months. I'm hoping to at least get the mala sweater and the tester call to be out about this month. And we'll see if it comes out hopefully in March. And then the sweater vest, I have to think about it first because I do like the design. I'm just so sad that it got so big. So I might actually contact like a professional grader to help me out with the sweater vest, because I think the issues that I've heard from other designers when designing cable vests is that it's sometimes a bit hard to have the exact design in cables to measure it and grade it up. So I might get a grader and tech editor to look at that because I really do love the design. I just don't know how it's going to work. And I'm not the life of a knitter, or at least a knitwear designer. It's still very new to me, and I think I want to have the best design possible to be able to show it to you and to the knitting world, you know? But that's just some tangents that I have with my sweaters and my sweater vests. Blocking is more important than you think, and blocking is really important, especially for designing. But let us move on to the whips. I only have one whip to show you, and I have no excuse. I have been wanting to make this tank top. I had this idea for a tank top for a while now that's modular, so you can wear it on its own, you can make it as a dress, you can make it as a sleeve. And that is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Ambitious goal, to have a modular outfit. But I think it would be so cool and so much fun. So I'm calling it the Matahari tank. Matahari means sun in Bahasa Melayu. It's a lot of words, very fancy. This is as much as I've gotten. Sorry if you heard that. This is the back of it, and I've actually had to frog it yesterday when I came back home because I did not like the fit of it when it was cotton with negative ease. So this is Drops Paris in, I forgot the shape, it's a blue one. And I have about 20 skeins of it because I wanted to make a dress with it. And I am, hopefully. This is a top-down because I'm really into top-down outfits in the moment. I'll make this one in a size 3, which has positive ease on me. And then I'm also making a smaller version that I can wear with negative ease, but with bust shaping and waist shaping, because I think that would be really cool to have in a pattern, and making sure that it's very versatile for anyone who wants to make clothes. I think I've done this maybe 3 different times on 3 different yarns, so this is the 3rd attempt. I did one with Drops Bummel Lynne because I really liked that, but my gauge was off. They always said it was the same as the Drops Cotton, 17 stitches by 22 stitches or rows. But then when I was knitting up a swatch and then actually trying out the pattern, it didn't work. It wasn't a good fit for it. I think it was also a little bit scratchy, and I didn't like the feeling of that on my body. So I switched to Rowan Mako Baby, which is 19 stitches by 22 or 25 rows. And I liked the feeling, but I think I didn't want something that was 19 stitches because that was a pretty off number to have for a pattern. So I decided to go with Drops Cotton because I knew that I had enough yarn to make a skirt version of it. That being said, I think I'll be making a size 2 version once it's done with the shaping and everything with Big Merino by Drops as well, because I think that will give a lot more give a lot more structure and help when it comes to elasticity and strength, because I've heard that cotton doesn't have that drape or the elasticity, and you always want to size down because of it. So I'm okay with using cotton for size 3 for something that has a bit more positive ease, whereas the negative ease version, I'm okay with having bust shaping as well. It hopefully will be done by this week. I have not been checking my schedule, and I really need to because my mind is all over the place right now, especially after KL. I was not journaling a lot. I was really out of it. I was more focused on wedding things. I didn't even bring my knitting because I knew I did not have any time to knit. And it's true, I didn't have any time to knit, which sucks. I thought I would be able to bring my knitting needles on the plane, but you're not allowed to on Royal Brunei, and that's really sad. But I understand why. Knitting needles are not the safest looking tools to have, even if they are blunt. But I'm going on a tangent. That is all the stuff that I've had so far on my needles. Let's move on to my little haul. My haul is some that I got here in Brunei, and then my partner, he went to Singapore early this month. So I think he left to Singapore on the 2nd of January for a mooting competition. He is a lawyer who actually likes law. He actually uses his degree, unlike me. And he got me some yarn when he was there, and I want to show it to you. I have been so interested in getting hand-dyed yarn from Southeast Asia. I know there's one hand dyer in Langkawi, Malaysia. Haven't got any stuff from her yet, but I've heard good things. And then I found a few in Singapore that I really wanted to get, but my partner said I could only get stuff from one place. Some stuff from one place, which is fair enough. He was also very busy. I appreciate that he took the time to order this stuff for me. So I went over to Parkour Kitty's website and I got some stuff. So we got this. Look at that. This is one fingering. This is a fingering yarn. This is a fingering yarn, 10 grams, I think, from their Halloween collection. I wanted hand-dyed yarn so bad. I want beautiful, custom, Southeast Asia dyed, hand-dyed yarn. It's beautiful, it's amazing. This is in the color Shock Pink, and I think it's fingering 4-ply, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I am tempted to either make socks with this or a tank top, because this is the cutest little pink I ever seen. It's like a highlighter pink, which is funny because one of the skeins here, the mini skeins or hanks of yarn from here is called highlighter pink. So we've got, I'm too scared to open it up. That's how scared I am. This is their collection from Halloween, and I really wanted to get this because I think it would be really cute to make a pair of socks. I know last year or like 2 years ago, I said I hate making socks, but I've given it some thought. I don't think I hate making socks. I think I hate making socks for other people. And I was making it for my partner at the time, and he doesn't even wear them. So I think I'm ready to make another pair of socks, but only for myself. So I might match these together. I'm really sorry for the crinkles. I might make a pair of socks with these two together. I'm not going to design the socks myself. I'm going to probably take a pattern by Stone Knits I've seen her patterns, and I remember seeing a couple of people on YouTube make her patterns for her socks. And I think they're so cute, and I really, really want to make some pair of socks, because I realized that if I'm making my own designs, I really want to remember like other techniques that I want to improve on, and socks are really great for that. If you want to learn better techniques and being able to have something that's easy to carry and bring around, which is why I decided I want the 10 grams of this so I can make some socks. These are very small. Are they 10 grams? No, they're 20 grams mini skeins, so I think they're about 80 meters. I want to open it up. Got 10 grams of this. No, 10 skeins, about 200 grams then. I'm going to put this back, by the way. I'm too scared of holding on to these. But these are about 10 skeins of yarn. They're so pretty. Oh, they feel so good as well. I want to press it against my face, but I'm wearing makeup. I think these would look really cute. That is so fun. I'm probably going to make socks out of these, but then the rest, I have an inkling that I really want to make some fingerless gloves. Will I actually wear the fingerless gloves? I don't know, but look at how pretty they are. I'm going to Singapore in March to see Taylor Swift, and I'm going to dedicate one day just to go to all the yarn stores so I can buy some more yarn. But Singapore also has a bit of an issue when it comes to yarn, specifically that it's expensive. And I can understand why. Yarn is expensive in any other country specifically, and Singapore is very expensive. So I get it. Those are the yarns that I got in Singapore. Thank you to my partner for getting them for me. I love you. You're the best. Can't wait until you get me more. And then I also got some yarns from a local yarn store. This is Firefly, and this is 100% cotton, 200 meters, and this is from Loop Me Yarn. I don't know if you can see it. I have 4 skeins of this. I think this is a fingering weight yarn as well, or at least a very light DK. I am so scared of trying it on, mostly because I think the color is absolutely beautiful, so I haven't actually pulled it out yet. I am really looking forward to working with this. I've actually met Umi, who runs Loop Me. She's so sweet. She was in my AWE class, and we were talking about yarns and all that. It was really fun. But I also understand that sourcing yarn can be difficult as a knitter, as a crocheter, because I think she crochets, I knit, and I just love the color and the design. It's a bit rougher than a lot of other cottons I've worked with, but not so bad. Like, I think Lily Sugar and Cream is way more rougher. You would not be able to wear that. But this, I feel like you can put it on your body. It's kind of a sunset color, which is why it's called Firefly. It's very soft. There's got shades of orange and yellow, and a little bit of pale yellow as well. So I really love it. Focus. I think it's beautiful. So those are the yarns that I've gotten over the past month. I'm hoping to be on a little bit of a yarn ban, at least for February, so I don't think I'll be buying as much yarn as I would like, but that's okay because I'll probably get some in Singapore in March, especially since I bought quite a bit of yarn at Spotlight. And I'll talk about that in the Spotlight haul. I think that's the most appropriate. But when I was in KL last week, we stopped by at Kinokuniya on the last day. If you are Malaysian or if you're Bruneian, you know what Kinokuniya is. It is like the largest bookstore in Kuala Lumpur. It's amazing. If you ever go to KL and you love books, go there. It's amazing. I used to go there like all the time when I went to KL to visit family, and I still do. So me and my partner went on the last day and the last evening. We were buying some stuff for his niece and nephew, but we were also getting some law books for him. And I really wanted to get some research books, specifically for knitting. And these are heavy. I got 2 books in Kinokuniya. The first one here is The Very Easy Guide to Lace Knitting. This is by Lynne Watterson, and I really want to get into lace knitting. I want to be able to look at designs, especially since I think they look really fun with cotton yarns. I will admit, I'll be the first to admit, lace is very hit or miss for me. I'm indifferent to lace. I think they're very beautiful, but sometimes I'm a bit too lazy to design lace. I do like the look of a stockinette, but I think it's time for me to really be able to expand my knitting and what I'm capable of doing. And one way to expand that knowledge is through lace knitting. And I think incorporating lace into tops would be absolutely beautiful. So that's why I got the Very Easy Guide to Lace Knitting. I know how to do lace knitting, I just don't do it as often. Plus, a book like this is a lot more for inspiration and kind of figuring out what looks good, what looks not good. I'll probably start looking through this book just to get some inspiration on what would look really nice in design, especially because lace is pretty good for hot weather as well. Another book that I got, and it's so heavy, it is the Ultimate All-Around Dictionary. I have seen some designers talk about how important it is to have a stitch dictionary, because sometimes we do rely a lot on the basic stockinette, garter, 2x2, 1x1, and I wanted a more, what's the word I'm looking for? I wanted a more all-around overview of designs. And I just got this book because I wanted something with a lot of inspiration. Like you could see this one has pleats on it. Ooh, this one's eyelets. Ooh, dip stitch tweed. So it has a lot of inspiration when it comes to what designs you want to do. And I really appreciate that in a design. I want to keep this book and the other book to keep in mind when I'm designing patterns, and I want something that isn't just stockinette. So yeah, that is it. It's over 300 stitch patterns, which is a lot, I would say. But I'm really excited to see how it goes. I think that is as long as this podcast is going to be. It's currently about 2:40. I have a few more videos to film. But nevertheless, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to The Hairy Knit. If you like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, check me out on Instagram. We'll keep you updated with the test knits and everything. And I will see you later. Okay, bye!